All right, well, let's dive on the hood right here, Steve, and let's talk some baseball, man. Let's talk the White Sox taking on the Mariners. You have two plays that you're going to be breaking down here. I'm intrigued on both of these ones. So let's kick it off here. You're seeing Seattle is pretty sizable favorite here, approaching over 160. If you're shopping around, you can find a little bit better of a price. But thoughts on this one, Steve? And then the other game that we got for you is this Dodgers and Padres in-state rivalry matchup that we have going. But we'll start here with the Mariners and the White Sox.
Yeah, a couple of 9:40 Eastern late night games. We'll start with White Sox at Mariners. We got Schultz against Woo! And the Mariners on the season just 22-26. White Sox 24-22. Don't you dare call them the worst team in the history of baseball anymore. Remember how bad the White Sox were a few years ago? Does look like they're turning the corner. They're 7-3 their last 10. Mariners just 4-6. White Sox 13-7 their last 20. Mariners just 9-11. So not sure I'm in a hurry to lay $1.50, $1.60 with probably who is the better team. I mean, hey, look, two ways to look at it, right? They're due to probably start playing better because I do think they're the better squad. Do we jump on them now? And by the way, Seattle is just 1-4 in extra inning games this year, so a little bit of hard luck there. But they've lost 3 straight. They've scored 7 total runs in those 3 games against the Padres at home this past weekend. Meanwhile, the White Sox do travel after that homestand against the Cubs. You could say that's a little bit of a letdown after back-to-back wins against the in-city rival. But their offensive momentum is for real. They have scored 5 runs or more in 6 straight games. They've scored 6 runs or more in 5 of their last 6. Yes, this quick road trip maybe quashes some of that momentum. The total's around 7.5. It's a very low total. What I'm actually going to look at here is a team total under for the Mariners. Both teams are priced at 3.5. Not in a hurry to fade the White Sox offense, which is red hot. But then again, this travel spot is a concern. But what I'm pretty sure is that the Mariners offense is not in good current form. And Schultz is mediocre, 4.9 ERA. He's coming off a couple below average starts. But the 3 or 4 starts before that, actually the 3 starts prior to those 2 bad starts, he was very strong. In fact, he'd given up, I believe it was like only 3 earned runs in almost 17 innings of work. So I think he actually bounces back here against the Seattle offense, not in good current form. Take a look at the Mariners team total under 3.5, and what once again is also somewhat of a pitcher-friendly park in Seattle.
Towards a prop there as opposed to ISOing in on both of those teams. I like that, Steve. Good breakdown there. This game, though, I mean, the Dodgers offense since losing, I think it was 4 straight games when they were playing the Braves, the Giants. Since that point, Steve, we have a Dodgers team, and okay, you can talk about the opponents, whatever. 40-5, they have outscored since that their opponents since that little slump, I guess we could call it. Now they take on the Padres. This total, likely because you got Yamamoto up on the mound for the Dodgers, 7.5. The Dodgers, this is just a red hot offense taking on a pretty damn hot Padres. This is going to be a great series here, Steve. Thoughts on the series and obviously this game tonight? Anything that you're looking to eye to bet in this one?
Yeah, 1 week ago, last Monday, we talked about the Giants and Dodgers, and I talked about how the Dodgers were underperforming after the hot start. They'd come back down to earth, and they were kind of a little bit below where they should be for the season. Well, they dropped that game 9-3. They dropped the next game 6-2, but then they won the 2 final games 9-2, and as you mentioned, offense is kicking into form. And one thing I did point out last week, and it's kind of what I talked about with Seattle, is when teams struggle, it's usually offensive momentum. Because think about it, everyone talks about the starting pitchers, which go once every 4 or 5 games. They only go half a game at that. So they play like half a game every 5. And then the bullpens are always a mix and mash. You never know who you're going to get. But the one consistency for the most part, you get the same 7, 8, even 9 guys in the offensive lineup every day. And it does ebb and flow. The Dodgers were not in good current form. When they had those 4 straight losses last week, they scored 3 runs or less in all 4. They scored 2 runs or less in 3 of the 4. And now during this 5-game win streak, they've scored 4 runs or more in every game. And they've scored 31 runs the last 3 games against the Angels. It's a quick trip back home. Not much of a road trip back home, obviously staying in the same city. And they're taking on a division rival, an in-state rival. I don't see them overlooking the Padres here, traveling from L.A. now down to San Diego. San Diego also had excellent offensive form, though. They put up 15 runs the last 2 games against the Mariners, as I mentioned earlier. By the way, the Dodgers are now 29-18 on the season. That's right below 62%. That's exactly 100 wins for the year. So they're still a little bit below what their projected win total was, getting over that 100. Padres at 28-18, a half game back. I think LA is still the better team. And by the way, I love Ohtani. I think he's the greatest all-around baseball player ever. Drop that in the comments below. Your thoughts on that. Look, Babe Ruth was the best all-around player, and he's the only pitcher hitter that you can really compare to Ohtani. But Ohtani hits as well as Ruth, or almost as well. Pitches better than Ruth. Greatest all-around player I've ever seen. Yet he's not even my favorite Japanese player on the Dodgers, Yamamoto. Man, what he did in the World Series last year was insane. He won 3 of the 4 games, including Game 7 with no rest after winning Game 6. And he's on the bump tonight. 2.5 ERA last year, 3.6 this year. He has regressed a bit in his last few outings. He's gone 6 innings the last 2 outings, but he's given up 8 earned runs, 11 hits. So I don't think anything is wrong. He's most likely going to come back down to earth. But with 2 hot offenses, I don't mind a little look at the over here. Let's take a look at Padres and Dodgers to keep the offensive rolling. And because we do have Yamamoto and King on the mound who have good overall numbers, it's a very reasonable total at 7.5 under -20. I would hold out, though. Wait until near first pitch. You might get a 7 over. 7 is a very key number. I lean over 7.5. Like it even more if you can find 7 over -120 by first pitch tonight at 9:40 Eastern on Monday.
I love it, Steve, and I'm glad you mentioned the over there. I know some commenters hate when I throw in my 2 cents, but that was the way that I was looking at this game. So I love it when you confirm, because one thing I like looking at with pitchers sometimes is how they match up against lineups, how they match up. And Yamamoto, for all that he has done in his career, 1-2, 4 starts against the Padres. His ERA in those games over 6.38, 4 homers, 13 runs in 18 and 1/3 innings. So I was just waiting for Steve to say, hey, let's look towards this over. But like Steve said, I think you can wait on it a little bit. You may even want to swoop in live if these pitchers do start hot, because King's pretty good as well. So I know some folks hate when I give my 2 cents.
I love it, Dan.
I like this one. I like this one, Steve. So let's ride together, my friend.
No, I love when you chime in, because that is something I actually forgot to mention, was that he has not fared well against the Padres. So thank you for pointing that out. You're exactly right. 6.38 ERA in 18 innings of work over the years. And last year he had 2 outings, I believe, against them. He gave up 11 hits, 5 runs in just 12 innings. So not terrible, but, once again, below average compared to against other opponents. And it's a kind of a wait and watch tonight for me, because he has not been sharp the last couple outings. Really, the last 3 outings, he's gone 6 innings or less. And this is a guy that routinely can go 7+ innings. We saw him go back-to-back in the World Series. It makes sense, right? He's only human. I will say this, though. 16 strikeouts, 1 walk the last 2 games. Can't pitch much better from that perspective. And he still has an ERA of over 4 in those 2 outings. So, yeah, we'll keep a close eye on Yamamoto. Make sure he's not maybe wearing down.
Steve, we appreciate you giving us the time. We're going to talk a little NBA. If you want the full NBA breakdown, check it out. We're going to add it to this video. You can check out Steve's breakdown on Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. It's posted right this very second. YouTube insiders as well here at WagerTalk Insiders. You get it even earlier than some of the other folks here. So reasons to subscribe. But Steve, before we talk NBA, what are you rocking with tonight, man? I know we talked some MLB action. What are we looking to bet tonight, man?
Yeah, I do have a strong best bet in Game 1 tonight between the Thunder and Spurs. It's on the side. And by the way, in the video, I give you a free play on the total. And I will point out that the total has moved a bit today. It had opened 218, was up to 219.5 last night when I did the video. We're now seeing 221.5 with that Thunder Spurs total. And I think the reason probably, Dan, is because Jalen Williams, Jalen, the better Jalen Williams, is expected to play tonight. He was listed as available. I mentioned in the video. It was already kind of known. But what's interesting is the point spread has not moved. It's held steady at 6.5 yesterday and today. So maybe there's just some sharp money on the over. I give you my free play on the over-under in the video, along with several player props. The Chet Holmgren, Andy will be happy to hear that. I talk about Chet Holmgren. I think he's an interesting guy in this series. If you look at the regular season matchups, I won't give it away, though. You got to watch the video. But I don't give out the side in the video, but I do have a strong best bet on the side tonight for my clients in Game 1. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. You can get there quicker, wt.buzz/SM. And then if Dan's available after Wager Talk today, we're going to knock out the Knicks Cavaliers Game 1 video for $5 Tuesday. It's free video Tuesday, and that line is on the move as well. I'll talk more about that in the video, but the Knicks have already gone from 6 to 7. We've also seen the total go up a couple points, so some heavy money coming in already on the Eastern Conference Finals for Tuesday.
And you want to get it sooner than anyone, make sure you are subscribed. Steve, you know I always got time for you, brother, so I'll see you right after the show.
It's a date.